The Viola Campaniça is this instrument here. So it's one of the Portuguese violas that we call it viola de arame, violas de arame, because of the strings. And this one in particular, it's a Viola Campaniça. It's usually associated to the south of the country, from the Campaniça region. Campaniça means do campo, from the countryside, from the rural areas of inner Portugal. So, and actually, it's quite it's not this word Campaniça, Viola Campaniça. It's not so old. So people used to call it viola. It was a viola. Then it was in the 20th century, and I think like in 70s, 80s. I cannot precise, but then they started to call it Viola Campaniça because it was actually popular in this region of the country. So it's a viola. That's what we used to call for all guitars in Portugal. Actually, the word guitar came later, so we call it all the stringed instruments like this. We call it violas. So this viola has 5 double strings. It used to have, and some of them still have triple strings here. There is a curiosity because some luthiers still put 2 more of these tuners here, but they just but the violas just have 10 strings. So this is so these ones can be triple. And tuning, this one is in C, but that doesn't matter really, because they used to tune it according to the voice of the singer. So if your voice would be higher pitch, you would tune it higher and or lower. So this one is in C, so the strings would be D, B, G, C, G. So these ones are the drones. For the popular repertoire, they use it like open. So tunings are the tuning of this viola. I think it's like all tunings in all instruments. The idea is to get more with less effort. So not spending so much energy and playing the more time and more things with it. So with one finger we can do the first chord of the viola. So here we have the 4th, here we have the 5th, and with these 4 chords you can play pretty much almost all the popular songbook for this area. So this is a bit of the Campaniça history. It almost disappeared until the 80s of the 20th century, but then there was this work of, especially in Castro Verde, which is a town in the south of Portugal, and they really could bring it to front again, bring it, and now there are many people, well, not a crowd, but there are many players that are using the viola and are trying other tunings and trying other stuff. I really don't know if well, traditions start when somebody becomes popular. So if somebody becomes popular and he plays in a certain way, so people would say, "Oh, this is the way of playing." So then many people start to playing like that, and then we have a tradition. So I think there are some old recordings that point us to other ways of playing, but the let's say the common technique is with this finger only. That's why we have this nail, and the idea is just to make this movement, and when you play it like this. But actually, this technique, it's very, it's it's nice to play the traditional songbook. You pretty much can do everything with it. But if you want to do other things, you must use other fingers or use other techniques. And I'm I recall this particular song that I think it was recorded by Giacometti. It's Moda dos Ensaiados. It's like a we we didn't used to call it carnival. We call it intrudo, but it's at the same time of the year. And there's Giacometti recorded this old man actually I think in the 60s, I suppose 60s 70s, and he played something like this with these fingers, and he played like a. Okay, so this song, it's a very nice song. He played in the Viola Campaniça, and he played it with more than one finger. I think with two. Actually, this particular figure is very used in Portugal, like in a cavaquinho, for instance, to make this, and or in guitarra portuguesa, like called this and like, or the figueta, that would be like this. And so there are many things that we can do with it, but I would say that the more people agree that the traditional technique would be with this finger. But we can do pretty much whatever we want. We can and just joke it. Okay, so we can do whatever we want with this. This is a musical instrument, so we can pretty much explore it. I remember this. I don't know if I'm talking too much, but I remember this. I had a piano teacher that many years ago. I was a kid, and she told me just make a sound at the piano, and I sat and I started to play on the keys, and she did like this, talk talk, and I think that changed my life, that or at least my musical life, but I think my life also, and so from that time I tried to explore other what I have in the instrument. So I play with this, and I play with this, I play with this, and with this. Just, so we can do many things. I became in touch with this viola by two ways. Uh, One of them was with this Portuguese musician, which was, I think, very important for the popular music in Portugal, João Aguardela. It was he once I was working like a staff member of a concert of his band Anaifa, and we were talking about the Viola Campaniça. And you know what, you should play it. And I said, okay, so but and I'm from Alentejo, and I didn't know so much about the. Well, I did know, but you know that for my I come from other I come well I studied classical music, then I had many rock bands, and I went to the jazz school and so on, and almost all of this idea of tradition and things were something like it was another thing, and then I don't know it sometimes and in that moment, in that particular moment when uh, I started to to try to know more about this instrument, because I used to play with a band called the Chocalhos, and I played electric guitar then, and I was yeah, just yeah, working with tradition but in another way, so trying to learn songs, but making fusion with it and mix it with my own influence and the other band members' influence. And so with this particular way, João, like 6 months after this, he came to me and gave me 3 CDs with MP3s, just with the Viola Campaniça. And he says, you know what, I remember you and I brought you this. So I said, wow. And I started to listen. And there was this particular guy, Jorge Montes Caras Novas, that I think it was like a Jimi Hendrix of the Viola Campaniça, and I started to hear him in repeat, you know, and that wow, this and that sound. It was not really the song; it was the sound that first caught my attention, and I thought about it like this is mine. I felt it mine, and that's why I came across with it. Then I made this workshop with Pedro Mestre, the Portuguese player of Viola Campaniça, and in Andanças Festival, and I think it was the first song I learned it. Something like this, and oh yeah, I think it was this one, and it was nice because I could start to learn the what we call the traditional songbook, or the traditional songs, and I started to use this technique. And then I had this Paulo Pereira invited me to play in a band called No Mazurka Band, and then I started to really develop other ways of playing, and I started to play with a plectrum actually, and trying to have several. Well, so the first one that the first one that I bought, it was not so good. It had many problems with well, they all have some problems with tuning, but that can be an advantage also. You can take an advantage with it and make music with it. So I don't know if maybe that's a lot of noise now, but imagine that with this we can we still have some it's when we want to play, if we want to play this instrument like a guitar, it's now it's well, it's in these new Campanisas, we can actually make more chords, but more accurate, like in our way of thinking tuning. But it's not the same thing actually, because there are many things that make this instrument um, unique. Also, the idea is to get the same sound, the sound that we like to hear, but more reliable. It's not like it has to be always on tune. The problem of this, I think it's almost all traditional instruments, is to to be reliable, that you can know what to count. So the first one that I had, it was, and that I made a record with it, it was really a problem, and it was almost all times out of tune, and this is not out of tune. It was out of tune, and and it was really a problem to play with other instruments, and we really wanted that sound, and so that was a problem. And so the idea is to minimize that problem, that this instrument can play with other instruments. So that's the first battle, I think, to get the same sound and to get it more reliable, that we can actually play with others and take it to to many contexts, different contexts, and can use it. Then, from like in 10 years, I think it more than doubled the the people that build violas campanisas. Not only violas campanisas, but more traditional instruments here in Portugal, and so the quality of the instruments, it's getting higher, and it's good. That's a good thing. This one in particular is built from Daniel Luz. He's from Odmira, and he was one of the old school guys, and I think it has a nice sound. But then there was other more young guys that just give it some touch here and then, and now you have many more people. The more you have, like, if you have more players, if you will have more people building violas, so the quality of the instruments will get higher. So from the first one that I had to this one, it's like a really huge gap, you know. They are really different, and I still use it to slide. The first one that I have, I just pick a slide, and I use it for slide because it's almost always out of tune. And this one I use it also for slide also. And well, this is you can explore the instruments as you want, but I think now there are much more luthiers building campanisas, and there are more musicians, and the more we are, the more quality we have on the players, on the instruments, and so on. So we're still in that battle, but that's something that we will, I think we'll get there. We'll get to that point that we have a good instrument for a good price, an affordable price, and a reliable instrument to play with other people in the world. But that can, so this is the difficult thing, that can maintain the same characteristics that made it what it is. So that's the main thing. So when I hear a viola campaniça, I am sure that I come from the Christians, the Jewish, and the Muslims, and these guys all mixed here, and I hear all in this instrument. I don't know if this always sound. I think this for me it sounds really good in this instrument, like this. And so on. So I think this is like how to say it. This is an instrument of synthesis that when I hear it, I am sure that it comes from. It has many contributions from all these cultures, and that contributed for this sound, for this. So that's what I love here. That always have to do in what time, specific time of history you're living in. So I think we are lucky. We're all lucky because now there is a demand for old things, and it's not. It's quite of a, it's a bit of a hype. It's not a big hype, but it is because things turn out so equal in all worlds. So that when you hear some pop music from many continents, it's well, I would not like to say this because even in pop music there are really differences. But many of with this global thing that people started to listen to the same stuff in all over the world, and which is a good thing that we are all connected. But there is also a demand for this roots, this the ground. So where some kind of identity. So where am I coming from? Who I am? So people are starting to make DNA tests, and they are also looking for their roots for just to maybe we need that to really stand strong and to be stronger. So I think these instruments, these songs, these have now a much wider audience. I think because maybe because of that, maybe because of other things. I don't know, but I think there is at least some curiosity that I don't see where if I bring an electric guitar or a piano or even a violin or something. If I take this instrument, and even here in Portugal, many people, oh, what's that? And some of them know, and some of them do not know. Oh, can you play it? Can you? Oh, interesting sound. Oh, because and it's well, at least it's a nice thing to make to start a conversation because there are people really interested in that, and I think. Audiences have now their ears pointed to this. So I think we are lucky in these times for this. But there is also a long way for these instruments to become accessible for the people. There are not so many stores that you can. Well, now you have at least one factory, two, but one more than the other. Factories in Portugal that produce these instruments. So they are not all manufactured as they used to be. So that's a good thing. It has some bad things, but it's a good thing that we can get access to this. So I think the answer now we talked about, I don't know the word in English, but we are talking about culture mediation here in Portugal. What is this thing about the culture mediation? And I think it's the answer relies in the access. I think you need access to things to be able to recognize it and to be able to choose what you want and what you like and what you don't like. Because if you do not have access to information, to you you don't know actually. Access. Access. You have to know that they exist. You have to know how they sound. You have to know what songs were written for them. You have to know the people that play them. That's the same as I wanted to be a musician because I used to, and I still love many musicians. So those were my how to say it, my references. So I wanted to be like them. You wanted to be like someone. So if you have access to that information, and if that information is given to you like in a open platform or something, you can actually identify yourself or not with it. And I think the thing to pass it to younger generations is to it's the access again. It's to be able to okay, let's program these violas in the festivals. Let's put it on the radio. Let's put it on TV. I think that's the answer for pretty much every culture. Um, anything, not not just culture. It's
In that
to
way, do you think mainstream music can integrate?
I think you must be free to do whatever you want. I think so. So you can. And this mainstream is something now, and will be in some years in front will be something different. So I think if I consider this instrument a musical instrument, so I can play my favorite songs with it. So if my favorite songs are mainstream, I can play mainstream with. So if I like some what mainstream song that I like, I don't know actually, but if I like something that I am like a guy like who plays this. And I will play some love song or some some. I can play it. I can do whatever I want. But also, I must be able to play the what are this traditional songbook, but also contemporary music and to make all the experiences. What do I play? Well,
Is there
oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, I when I play, I do not really think of, especially when I play my songs, I do not think of structures, and then but I think of maybe feelings. I don't know. And I think of colors. Yes, there are. I have particular colors in mind, and some songs remind me some. So I know that this this I know it's kind of magenta. Then I switch it to green here. You know, this green. So it's D. For me, it's a green thing. And so I know that it goes. Elvira goes to green. It's a. And this last part was not like this, but it's a green thing for me. So if I switch to F, it's yellow. So okay, it's my way of thinking songs. So many times I just in my head they are like that. So they are like sequences of colors or feelings. Yeah, yeah. So that's it.
Dizes teus olhos.